Hello and welcome to today's episode on marketing myopia. My name is Rayan Zohur and the subject expert is Dr. Arshia Hussain, PhD in Human Resource Management and teaching in the Department of Commerce and Business Studies, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Marketing myopia is a concept that was introduced by Theodore Levitt in 1960. At the time Levitt wrote about marketing myopia in the Harvard Business Review, he was a lecturer in Harvard Business School. Marketing myopia won the McKinsey Award in 1960 and continues to be not just relevant but an important marketing concept. According to this theory, companies start focusing on their own needs and their short-term growth strategies. In doing so, they ignore the requirements and wants of their customers. As a result, their business fails to grow any further and often becomes obsolete and outdated. Sustained growth depends on how broadly you define your business and how carefully you gauge your customers' needs. Levitt theorizes that a myopic culture in any organization will create a path for its own downfall. This happens because of the short-sighted belief that their organization is in an industry that is growing. This belief makes them complacent and they lose sight of what their customers really want. They focus more on the original product instead of adapting to the needs and wants of their customers. In other words, businesses get busy in selling what they already have. They do not spend time in taking feedback from their customers and improving their products. In order to continue their growth, organizations must identify their customers' requirements and desires and act on that information. They must not rely on the false assumption that their product will last forever without the need to improve it. Marketing myopia. Levitt introduced this concept by asking the famous question, what business are you really in? He went on to suggest that the railroad business in the US stopped growing because it failed to ask this question. People still needed transportation. Other innovations like cars and aeroplanes did not completely fill the transportation needs of that time. Railroads stopped growing because they did not do anything to fill the needs of the customers. The leadership of the railroad industry thought they were in a business of railroads and not in the business of providing transportation to their customers. They felt they were providing a product instead of providing a service. Levitt goes on to say that the leadership of a business should focus on meeting the needs and requirements of the customers instead of selling products. He goes on to give the example of DuPont, who kept a close eye on their customers and their most pressing concerns. They used their technical knowledge and created an impressive range of products that appealed to its existing customers and attracted new ones. Their market grew continuously. If DuPont had focused on selling their existing product, their flagship invention, nylon, and tried to find more uses of it and increase its market, they might not have been around today. DuPont has been successful not only because of their product or research orientation, but more importantly because of their complete customer focus. They have constantly watched out for opportunities where they could apply their technical expertise and create uses that satisfy their customers. Without a close and accurate observation of their customers' needs, their new products might not have been very successful and their sales methods not as effective. Shadow of getting obsolete. Every major industry that we see today was at one point of time a growth industry. Some industries that are excited about being in the middle of growth have already started their decline, while others that are looked at as experienced growth industries have actually stopped growing. In all these cases where growth has slowed down or completely stopped, the reason is not that the market has saturated, but because management has failed. In every growth industry, the management assumed that their strength was in the superiority of their product, which was unchallenged at that time. There were no substitutes for that product. What they forget is that they themselves replaced a product for which there seemed no substitute at its peak. All of these industries have declined one after the other. Dry cleaning, which is at one point of time was a massive growth industry, started a sharp decline. The competition did not come from a better way of cleaning, but from different fibers that were synthetic and chemical additives. Together, they drastically reduced the requirements for dry cleaning. Utility companies seem like natural monopolies and could never go out of business. However, they will need to develop fuel cells, solar energy and other renewable sources of power. If they fail to look at alternate methods of fulfilling their customers' needs, they will not be able to survive for very long. According to Levitt, growth industries do not exist. There are organizations that organize themselves and operate to create and make the most of growth opportunities. Industries that believe they are on a definite and never ending growth path will without doubt fall into stagnation. The history of every growth industry that is either dead or dying displays a self-deceiving cycle of great expansion and undetected decay. Levitt lists down 4 conditions that assure this cycle. 1. A belief that growth will automatically continue because of an increasing population that is getting more affluent. 2. A belief that industry's primary product has no substitute and will therefore never have any competition. 3. Mass production will help in reducing their costs and the industry will continue to grow because of reduced prices. And 4. An overemphasis on products that can be improved by scientific experiments and their cost reduced. Population myth. Every industry believes that profits will continue to come because the population is growing and is getting more affluent. This belief calms the anxiety everyone generally feels about the future. If the consumers are growing in number and buying more products or services of a company, then the manufacturer is more comfortable about the future of their organization than they would be in an environment where the market was shrinking. A growing market keeps the manufacturer complacent and he does not have to think hard or be imaginative about how to sell his products. If thinking occurs because of a problem, then an absence of a problem will result in an absence of thinking. If a manufacturer's product has a market that is expanding on its own, then the manufacturer will not spend any time on thinking about how to expand that market. An interesting example of this is the oil industry. It has a generic product, petroleum. This is perhaps the oldest growth industry and has an enviable record. Despite the call for clean energy, the oil industry is still growing and is expected to continue growing for many years. However, very soon it may find itself in a similar position as that of the railroad industry in the 1950s, that of retrospective glory. One of the characteristics of this industry and other industries that have strongly believed in the positive results of a growing population is that the companies have tried to get ahead of their competitors by improving on what they already have been doing. The oil industry has not done much even for product improvement. Most of the improvements have come from outside the industry, specifically from DuPont and General Motors. The large contributions that the industry has made are limited to the technology of oil exploration, production and refining. The oil industry has continued to define their primary product in the narrowest terms possible, that is gasoline. They have not expanded this definition to either energy, fuel or transportation. This narrow view has ensured that most major improvements in the quality of gasoline did not come from the oil industry. Even the development of superior alternate fuels have come from outside the industry. Innovations in the marketing of automobile fuel have come from new and small oil companies who are not in the business of production or refining. Myth of no competitive substitute. Growth industries often have a major product that drives its growth, and there seems to be no other product in the market that can compete with it. When an organization believes that their product or products have no rivals, it makes them vulnerable to innovations from outside the industry. They could be products that are not in the same category, but can completely disrupt their industry. These innovations are generally made by new companies that are smaller. Their focus is on the needs of the customer rather than any specific product. They tend to get innovative and think out of the box. Going back to the example of the oil industry, their efforts are focused on improving the efficiency of making the product. That is the reason that major improvements in the quality of gasoline have not come from the oil industry. The development of alternative fuels that are superior, like gas, have come from outside the oil industry. 20 years back, the oil industry had no substitute, and that is one of the reasons they became complacent. Today, although the oil industry is still growing, there are several alternatives for energy that are available. Production pressures. Industries of mass production are compelled to produce as much as they can. A sharp decline in the per unit cost of products with the increase in output drives companies towards mass production. The possibilities of making profit look grand, and all the efforts of the organization are focused on production. As a result, marketing gets neglected. Mass production generally increases the pressure to move the product, and the emphasis is on selling, not marketing. Marketing is a more complex and sophisticated process, and that gets ignored. Unlike selling, the focus of marketing is on the needs of the customer. In a mass production unit, the seller needs to convert the product into cash, and that is what selling addresses. The idea of marketing is to satisfy the needs of the customer through the product and an entire cluster of activities related to creating the product, delivering it, and finally the consumption of the product. In some industries, the lure of mass production has been so strong that the leadership has asked the sales team to literally get rid of the products and that they will take care of the profits. In contrast to this, an organization which is oriented towards marketing attempts to deliver products that create value and generate a demand from the customers for those products. Such companies offer more than just the product. They offer different ways in which the product is made available to the customer, the form in which the product is available, the time during which they are available, the conditions in which they are available, and also the terms of sale. The exciting possibility of profit from producing low-cost units could be the most self-deceiving attitude an organization could have. Even more when the organization is in a growth industry, where the myth of an automatically increasing demand already has the potential to undermine a concern for the needs of the customer. The result of this narrow obsession is usually the decline of an industry. The product does not adapt to the changing needs of the customers. The industry watches its own specific product so closely that it loses sight of how it is slowly becoming obsolete. Dangers of research and development. Another big danger to an organization's growth comes from the leadership's over-dependence on technical research and development for profit possibilities. Let us take the example of the electronics industry. The greatest danger to this industry is that they pay too much attention to research and development. They have grown under conditions that create an illusion that a superior product does not need anything else and will sell itself. After creating a successful organization and a great product, organizations continue to be focused on the product and not on the people who consume that product. They start believing that continued growth is a result of continued product innovation and improvement. There are several factors that lead to this belief. Since electronic products are complex, the organization becomes top heavy with scientists and engineers. This creates a bias towards research and development and also production, often at the cost of marketing. Another bias creeps in, that is towards wanting to deal with variables that can be controlled. Scientists and engineers feel comfortable with variables that are testable or can be manipulated in the lab. The realities of the market get ignored. Important questions like what the customer wants and the direction that the market is heading in rarely gets asked. It is essential that all organizations understand that an industry is a process to satisfy customers and not merely a process to produce goods. Implications of marketing myopia. Marketing myopia can eventually cause an organization to fail. It is a gradual process and slowly makes a business obsolete while the leadership is focused on other things and not on the needs of the customer. Initially, the customers start getting dissatisfied with one or more aspects of a product or service. Some of them reach out, complain to customer support, express their dissatisfaction on social media, while some just leave and find alternatives that satisfy their needs better. Over a period of time, things get worse. More and more customers start leaving, reviews become negative, the public image suffers. It becomes increasingly difficult to acquire new customers. Any business that refuses to evolve will fail. Let us say that an organization is in a business of transporting people from point X to point Y. They started business transporting people using horses. Over time, they started using buses and trains. After many years, their customers wanted to make that trip faster and are willing to spend more money as well. Aircrafts are available, but are very expensive, and the leadership does not want to spend that kind of money to purchase those aircrafts. For some time, their customers will continue to use the buses and train. But as new organizations begin to fill this gap, they will eventually move. Avoiding marketing myopia. Marketing myopia affects organizations when they start losing connection with their customers. The leadership must ensure that they are always connected to the customers. They should be in a position where they can assess the changing needs of their customers on a constant basis. However, this does not mean that the customers will always tell an organization exactly what they want. They should understand the needs of their customers and do everything in their power to find appropriate solutions for them. Sometimes an organization needs to get creative to achieve this goal. Understanding the customer's needs and adapting based on those needs. Let us take the example of cafes that have mushroomed in the last decade. They sell coffee, however, their customers do not go there only to drink coffee. They have other needs as well that those cafes fulfill. Some go there to eat as well, and for some it is a place for social interaction. They get there with their friends or colleagues, and along with coffee, they want a comfortable space with a good ambience where they can sit and chat with each other. Some customers go there with their laptops to have coffee and get some work done. These cafes started providing free Wi-Fi services as they understood this need of their customer. Customer Development Survey, a great way for an organization to ensure that they are aware of the needs of their customers is to conduct customer development surveys. They request their existing customers and potential customers to respond to a series of questions about their product or service. This helps them to understand how they are using their products and also how they feel about it. Connecting with customers who are the most engaged and asking open-ended questions can give insights into what they need and how their needs are evolving. Summary: marketing myopia refers to the tendency of organizations to get short-sighted about the basic and essential aspect of running a successful organization, which is the needs and requirements of their customer. Organizations start focusing on their own needs and their short-term growth strategies. In doing so, they ignore the requirements and wants of their customers. As a result, their businesses fail to grow any further and often become obsolete and outdated. Every major industry that we see today was at one point of time a growth industry. Some industries that are excited about being in the middle of growth have already started their decline, while others that are looked at as experienced growth industries have actually stopped growing. In all these cases where growth has slowed down or completely stopped, the reason is not that the market has saturated, but because management has failed. The history of every growth industry that is either dead or dying displays a self-deceiving cycle of great expansion and undetected decay. Theodore Levitt lists down 4 conditions that assure this cycle. 1. A belief that growth will automatically continue because of an increasing population that is getting more affluent. 2. A belief that the industry's primary product has no substitute and will therefore never have any competition. 3. Mass production will help in reducing the costs and the industry will continue to grow because of reduced prices. 4. An overemphasis on products that can be improved by scientific experiments and their cost reduced. Marketing myopia can eventually cause an organization to fail. It is a gradual process and slowly makes a business obsolete, while the leadership is focused on other things and not the needs of the customers. This is all we have for today. Hope the session was informative. We will meet again in the next episode with a new topic. Till then, take care and goodbye.